This is episode 520. Today we're going to be talking about developing an intense focus. Focus is so important in accomplishing anything in life. The more we're distracted, the more we don't get things accomplished. And this is why I'm such a advocate against multitasking because multitasking does not work. And we all have a tendency at some time or another to become sidetracked. You may want to complete an important task, yet many distractions poke around and keep you from your goals. I mean, there's so many distractions in the world these days between emails and Twitter and the news, and there's just so many. And for whatever reason, we think we have to allow 100% access to us from all of these apps and all of these sites, but we don't. So, how can we keep our focus on tasks at hand? Well, we're going to go over some of those keys to it. So, distractions may be hard to ignore because, especially if you're at work and your boss comes into your office or a coworker comes into your office, especially if that coworker happens to be excessively chatty, or the phone rings, or demanding spouse, many other things. So there's all these distractions that are there, and I'm just going to emphasize that you choose to be distracted. There is always a choice. And it doesn't mean that you have to ignore your spouse, it doesn't mean that you ignore your coworker, but you can choose how much distraction you're going to let into your life. This is why it's so important to have personal boundaries at work, boundaries at life, on what do you accept and what don't you accept. And this is not being strict or being an a-hole, but it's what do you need to put around you to create focus so you can get things done that you want to get done. And so, thankfully, in addition to having these boundaries, there are some other tried and true strategies that you can put in place to help with distractions. But before we get into those, I want you to think of a lot of clients ask me, how do I stop myself from being distracted? Well, the key is you don't stop yourself from being distracted. You emphasize more of what you want to accomplish. And this is where focus comes in, because when you are intensely focused on something, all the distractions fall away because you don't allow them into your awareness. When you are completely, and when we are in the zone, when we're doing something really fantastic and we're in that zone and we get to the flow, whether it's skiing, CrossFit, gardening, reading a book, everything else falls away. We don't have to force the distractions to stop. They automatically stop because of our intense focus and being in the zone. So this is what we want to do is we want to be able to develop that focus so the distractions take care of themselves. So one of the things is remove distractions, right? And if you know there are distractions there, remove them. You can't focus if you're constantly checking your email, Facebook, or other time stealers. So if you have a task at hand, you need to shut down all those apps. You'll get more done if you allow your mind to get in the groove with some peace and quiet. Maybe some classical music in the background to for me, I like music when I'm reading or studying because I only have to drown out the music because the music drowns out everything else. So that's for me. You may not like music, but what is important is when you're going to sit down and you need to focus on something, you need to shut down all the other distractions. And let's just say that you forget to turn off your phone. Just because it rings doesn't mean you have to answer it. That's what voicemail is for. If you're working from home and somebody knocks on your front door, it doesn't mean you have to answer it. We are at beck and call to these distractions, but when we take back the power is, hey, somebody knocks on the door, I don't need to answer it. Somebody rings or texts, I don't need to answer it right now. We don't have to do that. We are always at choice. So the more you can remove distractions and create a place of solitude, the better off you're going to be able to focus. Remain committed. This is really important because You know that you have something you should finish. We all do. I should finish this, I should finish that. But you are what but are you really 100% committed to seeing it through to completion? These are important questions to ask because if this is where you need to be honest with yourself, right? So you have a task at hand and you go, I need to read 5 pages today. Let's say you're going to school. I need to read 5 pages for my homework assignment tomorrow. And then, are you really committed to school? Are you committed to that class and are you committed to it? If you are, you will get it done. But here's the thing is if we allow ourselves to be distracted, my question would be is how committed are you to that task? It could be cleaning out your garage. Here's my task at hand. I need to focus and clean out my garage. Well, I got distracted by washing clothes and doing whatever. So when we allow ourselves to be distracted, we have to ask, am I really committed to what I say I am? If you're not, then stop it, put it away, be done with it. But if you're committed to it, then you remove the distractions and you remain committed to what you promised yourself you're going to do. Set a time limit. So even if the task itself doesn't have a time limit, assign one anyway. Because if you have a deadline, I really not a deadline, but if you have a due date, you'll be more apt to complete your task in a timely manner. Again, it could be cleaning out the garage. You go, I'll clean out the garage sometime. I should clean out the garage sometime. Well, if you say, I am going to clean out the garage by the end of the Saturday, there's a timeline on it. And it's almost like making a promise to yourself. And I would even, within this time limit, I would even make a promise. So I promise myself to get this task done by this time. But I promise myself, because when you make a promise to yourself, it changes the dynamics of what you want to do. But this is how you get in focus, right? Because if you have something that needs to be done in a short period of time, you have no other choice but to focus on it. Focus on it intensely to get it done. If you have all the time in the world, there is no need to focus. Take frequent breaks. Now, this may sound contradictory, but it actually makes a world of difference for the workaholic or those that go for these marathon stretches of trying to get something done in 3, 4, 5 hours. You see, if you work too long at one time, not only do you become physically tired, but our minds tire as well. You can just go so far without getting a refresher, whether that's hydration, nutrition, walking around, exercise to clear the mind. There are so many things, but you need to take these breaks, and this makes us more susceptible to distractions when we don't take the breaks. Now, there's a Pomodoro method which says effectively work for 20 minutes and take a break for 10 minutes, which is almost like a Tabata. If you're following this at all and you know about Tabatas, you work for 20 seconds and rest for 10 seconds. So this is just a longer version of it for a non physical activity. So you work for 20 minutes, take a break for 10 minutes, and go back for 20. So the Pomodoro method in there has it built in to get these things done. Now, you may be involved with a task that if you stopped after 20 minutes, you would lose your momentum. Great. Then put it to an hour. But I would recommend anywhere between an hour and a half. You need to take a break. You need to get out, have some water, have something nourishing, maybe an apple and some almonds, and walk around, get the blood flowing. You have to take these frequent breaks. It is important to keep the mind energized and keep your body energized as well. Use a list. Now, there are to do lists, which are great because lists are wonderful tools that help you accomplish your work quicker and easier. And before beginning a task of some sort, write down everything you need to accomplish, then cross it out as each task is completed. And this kind of enhances your focus. Here's the things I need to get done. Task lists are different than tactics and strategies for achieving goals. The lists are for I need to go to the lawn, I need to go to the dry cleaner, I need to go food shopping, I need to go to the doctor, whatever it is. Those are lists, and they can help you focus on the things you need to get done. Because if you don't have the list, you may forget about going to the doctor, and then they give you a call. You go, oh my gosh, I forgot. So list will help you get focused in a general perspective, right? And then we need to keep in mind that how we do anything is a reflection of how we do everything. So on these small tasks, these lists, if we can develop focus there, we then can expand and develop focus when we're in larger tasks, when there's distractions around us, when there's chaos going around, we can stay focused on what we need to get accomplished. Reward yourself for a job well done. I'm a big proponent on rewarding yourself. Even if you don't get to 100%, not that this is not everybody gets a trophy syndrome. This is acknowledging the progress that you have made. And when you're able to stay focused for an important task, get it accomplished, reward yourself. But even if you're on a task that's going to take you a couple of 3 days to do it and you've segmented 2 hours each day to get it done and you sit down and you stay focused for 2 hours, at the end of that 2 hours, go, well done. Re- Make sure you reward yourself verbally or some sort of acknowledge yourself for staying focused for 2 hours. Because so often, I guarantee you, if you set aside 2 hours to stay focused and you only focused for 30 minutes, you'd beat yourself up because you didn't stay focused. So we want to make sure that we reward ourselves when we do stay focused. And just keep thinking about the big picture and your reward once you're finished with the task at hand. The task at hand may be for a larger project that you're working on, whether it's work or personal or whatever it might be. But when you reward yourself, it's going to help you stay motivated to continue. Remember, you're human too. We're all human. We're losing our focus is easy, and it's an existence with filled with daily distractions and annoyance. Right? We've gone through that. You can probably think within 1 minute how many times that you can be distracted. We're all human. We're all susceptible to these distractions. However, you'll find that you can keep an intense focus on something if you practice the techniques that I just went over. Make them a habit and enjoy your rewards. So I would recommend that you listen to the podcast, go to warriormindcoach.com, look at these bullet items, and then pick one and start to work on each one every day. Again, focus is so important. Nothing is accomplished really without focus. You think back to when you were in school, you focused, you crammed for finals. Well, that cramming was focusing. So you're focusing during that time and you got the test done. Whatever it is, whatever really big project, when we can focus on something, we can really accomplish a lot. Now, here's something I've observed, and this helps to do with focus. But let's just say that you're at home watching a TV show and it's not doing a commercial. And then you start checking your cell phone. You start checking Instagram, Facebook, and the show you want to watch is still on. Well, I won't comment about the show, but you are losing focus because you sat down to watch the show. Watch the show, turn off the phone, turn it upside down. When a commercial comes on, put it on mute, and then look at your phone. But we are training ourselves not to be focused by having conversations during a movie, by being distracted by a phone. All these things may seem little, but they all add up. How you do anything is a reflection of how you do everything. If you allow yourself to be distracted watching a movie or TV show, you will allow yourself to be distracted on bigger things. When you can stay focused at the task on hand, watching the show to the commercial, then you turn it off or turn it on mute and check your phone if that's necessary. Maybe get up and do some sit-ups, whatever it is, but you need to be able to focus. And the more we allow ourselves, the more we train ourselves not to focus, the more we're not going to get done and the more anxiety we're going to feel because we aren't getting enough done. So for the show notes on this podcast and other information, other blog posts, other podcasts, links to my books, etc., please visit warriormindcoach.com. And if you would like to, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom of the main page, and there's a banner there where you can ask for an introductory consultation, and we can chat about developing your focus or developing mental strength, whatever you feel is holding you back from the success that you deserve. And also, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.